it's not just some random setting. There's a lot of contextual storytelling we're doing in this free-for-all map with some Easter eggs and some payoff that's going to come in Overwatch 2.
So, to be completely honest with you guys, I did not think I would be talking about Brit this soon. I wrote a hero concept for her in late 2019 after I realized that she was the lady on almost all of the Hanamura arcade posters, like 6 or 7 of them. Yes, really, if you go take a look at them, look real close, look at the hair, look at the goggles. The outfit is slightly different, but it's definitely the same character. I said to myself, if someone on the dev team drew her this many times, they clearly have her on their mind, and they might want to do something with her. So I figured, why the hell not? I'll write up a hero concept for her. But I sat on it, because it didn't seem like a high priority at the time. I figured if Brit was gonna happen at all, it'd be way down the line, kind of like as a kind of out there surprise. There were other hero concepts that had a higher priority, like, Mauga. Had to get Mauga out. Gotta get King out. And the one that I'm currently working on right now. So yeah, I didn't think she would be relevant for a while, if ever. But then Kanezaka happened. I'm sweating, I'm shaking, and I need to talk about her right now. She sure is right there in the middle of the map. Then, I quickly noticed that there was a pervasive echo chamber going around of, no, this is a misdirection, it's not a real teaser, fake news. How about we spice things up with a dissenting opinion? The main reason why people think that this is a misdirection is because this is just too obvious to be a hero teaser. It's not subtle enough. It has to be. They just wouldn't do that. Wouldn't they though? Let's not forget that there's been a sliding scale of subtlety when it comes to hero teasers in Overwatch. You have your more Moira-esque situations where there was only like a few little hints here or there, but then you also have your more Brigitte situations where they just shoved the character in our faces and wow, boom, it was literally the next hero. Point being, hero teasers do not have to be incredibly subtle, that you can only find them if you look at a piece of graffiti, for example, or a statue. Yes, I'm making reference to the Fox Girl theory that's completely eclipsed Brit, and I don't actually have a problem with that theory. I'm not gonna dunk on it, but I do kind of have an alternative explanation for that Fox imagery that I'll get to in a bit. The other problem that people have with Brit is the assumption that she is just Diva 1.0. That is just an assumption. That's never been confirmed. Let's go back to Blizzcon 2017 for a second, when they first showed us that spread of concept art where we first saw Brit. They specifically point out that Angelica was renamed into Mercy, and that Longshot was redesigned and renamed into Widowmaker. And then they also kind of cheekily point out, like, oh, look, there's also Torbjorn and Symmetra. They're looking at that area of the slide narrating this out, and Brit is also right there. They had an opportunity right then and there to say, oh yeah, and that Brit character, that was Diva, hee, but they didn't. If that's all she was ever meant to be, there wasn't any reason to not say it. And then there's also the art of Overwatch. If you look at the section on Diva, Brit's not freaking in there. What people are getting caught up on is that Brit was listed as having a pistol and a mech. Oh, well, Diva already has that, so case closed. That's old Diva. Well, here's an alternative explanation. They came up with Brit first, and then they also came up with Diva, and they decided to go forward with Diva because they liked that idea more, they thought that was more marketable, and so they gave the pistol to Diva and decided to do something else with Brit, and put Brit on the back burner until the time was right. So enough about all that. I think I made my point. Here are my 2 theories as to the lore of Brit. One is, at this point in my mind, the more likely one. The other one is my old theory, the one that my hero concept is based on, and with this billboard, I kind of now think of it as more of a crack theory. Hence the title. Alright. Theory number 1. That giant sea omnic, the Guishin omnic, with its continued threats against South Korea, one could naturally assume that it's also a continuous threat to Japan as well. Due to the fact that they share a sea. Why would that evil menacing omnic only threaten the one country? It's probably threatening, like, the whole region. So, what if Japan got a similar idea, maybe even borrowed the idea from Korea, to create their own mecha squad, their own force of mech fighters to fight off the omnic? And what if Brit is part of that team? And what if she's also Japan's hero, just like how Diva is famous, she's considered like a national hero of Korea. What if Brit is kind of like her parallel counterpart, and like she also has brand sponsors, which is why she's advertising this company or store brand called Fujita, which, who knows what the hell they're selling, but she's on their billboard. And maybe she has a little video game franchise, hence why she's, on those arcade posters. She seems to be branding herself, putting herself out there. I don't want to simplify her and call her Japanese Diva, because she probably has like her own personality, but the parallel, I'm sure there's an intentional parallel that's gonna go on there if this theory is true. And as for all of that fox imagery on the Kanezaka map, maybe it's indicating a second hero teaser. Or it's a clue hinting to, perhaps that her orange and white mech might have a fox theme, just like how Diva's mech has a bunny theme. Maybe Brit's mech is called Kitsune, just as Diva's mech is called Toki. Fox and rabbit. It's kind of a thing, like, I can see it. Alright, so that's theory number 1. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So let's get into the actual crackier theory, shall we? So perhaps, maybe the reason that Brit is in those video game posters is because maybe she's just actually an in-universe fictional character in some kind of video game franchise. But wait, then how could she be a hero? That doesn't make any sense. Is probably what you're thinking right now, and I don't blame you. This is pretty out there. So, what if it wasn't actually Brit herself that became a hero, but a cosplayer / budding engineer who decided to take up the mantle of Brit. Brit's her favorite video game character, and she's interested in getting into some heroism, but she needs a persona. She doesn't want to just be a hero as herself. So she makes a Brit costume, assumes Brit's name, and she doesn't have enough of a budget to make her own mech, but she decides to make a remote-controlled robot that vaguely looks like the mech. She can tell it to do stuff, like, support stuff, like a support mech, if you will, in the looser sense of the term mech. I mean, think about it. If Blizzard really wanted to pull a fast one on us, making a hero a cosplayer of an in-universe fictional character as like a bait and switch sort of thing, that would be a good way to blindside us all. Like, who would see that coming? I guess except for me. This theory seemed a lot more plausible to me back when the Hanamura arcade posters were the only thing I had to go off of, but now that she's on this billboard, for me, the billboard makes theory 1 a little more plausible than theory 2. But theory number 2 is what I based my hero concept on, and I am kind of attached to that concept, and I'd still like to put it out someday. But, I probably should make a concept for theory number 1 and probably put that out first. But don't expect it anytime soon because it takes me a while to make hero concepts. Alright, as the final thing I want to talk about, the final little prediction I want to make before I wrap this all up, I want to talk about BlizzCon Line. BlizzCon Line is a mere 2 months from now, and we know for sure that they're going to talk about Overwatch 2. To what extent? We don't know. Will they have a release date? We don't know. But I'm thinking that they might tantalize our appetites by revealing another character aside from Sojourn. And what if that character is Brit? What if they're showing us to her now to get us all riled up, and then they're just like, yeah, we're gonna talk about her at BlizzCon. Take a look at her, think about her for 2 months, and then we're just gonna talk about her. Going back to my Brigitte example, they showed us the Reinhardt cinematic, and then she was literally the next hero, so This could just be another one of those times where they're just gonna be like, oh, haha, you thought that it was too obvious, but guess what? That was the thing. We double tricked you, hee hee. But anyway, my whole point here is that, you know, just because she seems kind of obvious, don't count her out yet. She could be a hero and she could be a really cool hero. We'll have to wait and see.